Welcome to episode 37 of Rock the Cash Bar. Dianne and I are sitting right damn next to each other for the first time in months.
Look who's here!
This is weird. You have a great big screen set up in your podcast studio here in your house. So like I'm having to talk while looking at my big, disgusting bald head.
It's really weird. It makes me feel goofy.
All I can think is how dramatically cuter you are than I am.
Oh, thank you, Ben.
I get to be the invisible boy.
Well, we're going to let someone super cute in a minute.
Excuse me, but can I be you for a while?
Excuse me, but can I be you for a while?
My dog won't bite if you sit real still.
I got the Antichrist in the kitchen. But we're not doing that song.
No.
But it's a great song.
It is a great song. The Antichrist in the kitchen yelling at me again.
I always thought she was talking about a kid, but maybe that's a husband.
Again. Like one more time with this Antichrist. Yeah, I can hear that. So we're going to be doing Tori Amos. I'm kind of coming back to Tori Amos here. Like when I was in high school, me and my sensitive friends were into Tori Amos. But I kind of shied away from her then.
Okay.
And I don't really know why. Like we'll talk about it when we bring Sam on. But it was really, like, of all the artists that we've researched and the 36 other episodes that we've done, spending a couple of days with Tori Amos was the most pleasant experience.
Yeah, it was a refreshing change. And I don't know if I'm smart enough for this episode, but Sam definitely is. So let's let him in.
This is Sam Demaris, one of the Whiskey Brothers, an old friend of ours, a great stand-up comic. Makes his home in Los Angeles, California these days.
Los Angeles. Sam, we can see you now. Look at his confused look. He's waiting for the audio.
There we go.
I love people's angry computer face. They're trying to make sense of everything. When they first come onto the Zoom meeting, like, what the hell is this?
Crazy kids and your dang contraptions.
Hold on, let me see if I can turn this up a little bit. Did I mute you?
No, I'm still here.
There we go.
You can't mute Sam Demaris. No mere technology can mute Sam Demaris.
Many have tried, all have failed.
You're coming to us live from Hollywood, California, yeah?
I am. I was trying to do this for my desktop because my camera on there is better and makes me look younger. But no dice.
I got
it's
a
still
ring
back
light.
there updating.
Oh, sorry.
I haven't seen you in a while. Your beard's getting long and it's full of wizard gray.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I did, but just one day I just started aging like shit. And
it happened.
I mean, I know what I did. I had a daughter, and
Yep.
yeah, she just turned 13. So I think I probably wasn't that gray right beforehand when she was 12.
Yep. So yeah, it's about to get worse, Sam. Those teenage years. Woo, buddy. You ready?
Hey man, look, she still likes me right now. So I'm getting every bit of that I can.
Good. Well,
so this Rock the Cash Bar podcast. Hi guys.
So initially Corbin has been bugging me for a punk rock episode, and he suggested Dead Kennedys, which made me think of you, because every time I saw you years ago at the Laugh Stop, you were wearing a Dead Kennedys t-shirt. And then Ben reminded me that you also are a big fan of Tori Amos, and I was like, oh, well,
huge.
Yeah.
Look at his face.
I love it.
We've got to put the screws to him. We have to twist his arm and beg him to do Tori Amos. I want to talk to Sam's sensitive side. I don't care about his ranting, raving, punk rock leanings. I want to know about the witchy fairy woman from the Enchanted Forest.
It's funny because when you asked about Tori Amos, I was like, that came from Ben Mowbray. The only person who would want that would be Ben Mowbray.
Well, I was suspicious though, because I think you were wearing like a Tori Amos t-shirt like 20 years ago, around the time that we first met. And I was asking, like, are you a fan? Because I was suspicious. I thought, oh no, this dude just sees a target-rich environment. Like, I'll go to the Tori Amos concert with all the sensitive hipster girls, all the alternative girls. But then I started talking to you about her. I was like, oh, this guy is a legitimate, he's seriously into her.
The thing about like her fans slash fanatics is you never guess. It's I go to those shows and people from all walks of life like, really, you're here too? What the fuck?
Right.
You never guess. And you would think that it would be a very vagina rich environment. No. A lot of Tori Amos fans do not like men. So it's it's not as beneficial as you thought it was.
That's funny. I mean, it's still vagina rich, just not vagina for Sam.
Not accessible.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking earlier about like where Tori Amos comes from, because it's hard to get a sense of
Are you in your underwear? Were that your boxers?
No.
If you're
Not at
listening
all.
to the podcast, switch over to YouTube because we just saw Sam in his underwear.
You don't have to wear pants at this cash bar.
We could all. No.
I didn't think the camera.
I might do a no pants podcast if we were in other rooms.
Other houses, yes. We'll do that. We'll do that in future. That was a thing we used to do at the Laugh Stop, like no pants midnight or whatever. And so we'll do that for
No
one.
pants after midnight, baby.
Yeah, buddy.
I didn't think the camera angle was that wide. If I was on my damn laptop like I wanted to be, you never would have known shit.
Well, you look
Since
good.
this,
Don't worry about it.
Cute butts.
since the shutdown, I've done
together.
so many Zoom shows, and I have done them all in my underwear, and no one has been the wiser until now.
Yes.
Have you been doing Zoom comedy shows?
Yeah, quite a few actually, and they're fun. It's not the same.
No, it's really weird. You can't hear
You
the-
either well, that's it. Either you have everyone mute their mics because people are sitting at home and they're drunk and they're going to heckle and they're like, I can interact and blah blah. And then when they do, because there's so many people, you don't know where it's coming from. Like on stage, if someone heckles you, I see you, motherfucker, so I can get you. It takes me a while to figure out where it came from. And then because of that, we're like, okay, everybody mute your microphones. And now I have no laughter.
Yeah,
So
that's rough.
I'm not a fan of them, but they pay.
Yeah, and at least you get to run your material. Like, just don't worry about it. Just run your set. At least you're staying fresh a little.
I'm not running material, man. Most of that is just me being an ass walking around in my underwear.
It's your thing. Well, let's talk about Tori. Tell us why you picked it. Tell us what song you picked and why you picked it.
I picked a song called Bells for Her because I find the story behind it amazing. Her producer, Eric Rossi, and I can't remember the other guy who was a part of this, but they were working on ways to mute a piano. And like they tied like Campbell's soup cans to the strings and shit. And they were trying to do this weird shit. Basically, in the process of trying to mute and create a decent sound, they just broke and destroyed and fucked up this piano.
Yeah.
And because Tori Amos is a musical genius, she sat down at this broken piece of shit and started banging at the keys and instantly learned the damn thing. Ended up making a song out of a broken piano. And it's great. It's like, it's really... it's a cool kind of haunting song, but I love it. And then when I found out later that like she did it on a intentionally destroyed piano, I'm like, is there anything this bitch can't do?
It's infuriating. And she did this whole song in like one take. Like she didn't write the lyrics down. But from what I'm reading from songfacts.com, she didn't even know what she was going to sing. She just kind of did it all in one organic flow. And what you hear on the recording is what she did the first time. And she had to go back and listen to it to write down the lyrics. And that infuriates me. Like that level of talent just pisses me off.
So you see why I'm such a fan. There's nothing she couldn't do. Now I'll be honest, I kind of fell off in the later years, like around 2002, 2003. She ended up getting a band, and when the band came in, first couple albums I was into it, and then I kind of petered off. Those first two albums when it was just her and the piano, that was my shit. And I mean, you couldn't find anybody. She came to U of H and played the Color Performance Hall. She did back-to-back shows. I went to both. I was in row double A for the first show. I was in row A for the second show.
Oh my god!
Like, I couldn't be beaten. There was no way I was ever missing her. I've seen her in 3 states, 2 countries.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, man.
Were you just like, we're
Daddy
making eye contact, boy. You and me, we're making eye contact.
Oh, I have. I've had those moments where oh yeah, baby. We've done it.
Let's get into the lyrics of Bells for Her and let's talk about it.
Ooh. And through the life force, and there goes her friend. On her Nishiki, it's out of time. And through the portal, they can make amends. So she's witchy and magical and elliptical right off the get-go. I had to look up Nishiki.
Yeah, I didn't look it up. Is it just like a garment?
It's a bike.
Oh, god damn it.
Yeah.
So I told him beforehand, I'm not smart enough for Tori Amos. I knew it in the 90s, and after reading this, I was like, she's up here, and I was like, can you dumb this down? I had to look up what the song was about. Once I understood what it's about,
Yeah,
I totally get it. What's that?
That's how you read books when you were a kid. Was I'm reading and then oh shit, I gotta stop and look this fucking thing up, and yeah, she was that, and she still is. Yeah, she's brilliant, and I mean, like, she was a piano whiz at a very, very young age.
Yeah,
she's always been smart.
She got into the Peabody Institute at Johns Hopkins when she was 5 years old. The youngest person ever. She was 5 years old. She got thrown out at 11. This is the story that I kept reading. She got thrown out at 11 for what they called musical insubordination. And I couldn't find like any more details. Like, do you know what it was? Like, how are you musically insubordinate?
I don't know what that was, but what most people don't know is that she had her name isn't Tori. Her name's Myra Ellen Amos. Tori was this character that she created because she wanted to be a rocker. She wanted to do metal with a fucking piano. And so her first band was called Why Can't Tori Read? And oh my god. If you have your computer there, Google Why Can't Tori Read, the letter Y, Kant, Tori Read, and the album cover is 80s metal hair. It's shit.
Tori Amos, wash jeans years. That's so weird because
oh my gosh, look at that.
It's crazy. So it was called Why Can't Tori Read because despite the fact that she's a musical prodigy and a piano whiz, she has trouble reading music. Which I guess, like if you're, because she started playing the piano when she was literally like 2 or 3 years old, and she's got a quote where she says that she sees music as if it's light filaments. Like she doesn't read it. She just kind of just like she can see it and hear it and feel it. So the idea of reading music and learning musical theory must seem like absurd. Like it's not this note on this line. Like it's a light that she sees. It's a sound that she hears.
She's so far above reading music. Like they're never going to understand her level of musical understanding.
That's the only thing. Like that's what musical insubordination must mean. Like it must be just like 11-year-old.
That's what I was about to say.
Why the fuck do I need to learn about treble clefs and time signatures?
I can see it in color.
I kind of have the same thing. Like I figured out a way to do division when I was a kid that did not require the long shit, and it was easier. And I used to get in trouble, and I would get knockoffs on shit. They'd be like, "No, we want to see your work. We want to see your long division." I'm like, but my way is easier. And they were like, "No, you need to do it the long way, like we taught you." I'm like, "That way is dumb. My way is easier." And I'm like, "I got the right answer. Why does it fucking matter?" And I would constantly get in trouble for that. And I'm guaranteeing you that's probably what musical insubordination was.
Sam Demaris has mathematical insubordination. Oh my god.
Another fun fact, why can't Tori Reid, her rock band, her drummer in that band was a gentleman by the name of Matt Sorum.
Yep. Does
that name ring a bell?
Yep.
I know Soren. What is that?
Matt Sorum.
That is the drummer from Guns N' Roses.
Whoa, really?
That was her drummer.
Shit.
Yeah, when Axl fired Steven Adler, I think in 1990, for his constant pot use. that's how you get thrown out of Guns N' Roses. You're smoking too much weed. Get off the bus.
Let me just say I'm really proud. Let me say I'm really proud of Steven Adler for being alive still. I watched him on that celebrity rehab show, and I'm always so happy to hear he's still alive. And Evan Dando, but let's continue. Sam, what you looking for?
Lemonheads, Evan Dando. I was looking for my water.
Okay. Yeah, I know Evan Dando. I think he was a heroin junkie, and I'm always so happy to hear he's still alive.
Sam's in an apartment in Hollywood. He's looking around for Evan Dando. He could be under the couch. He could be in the closet. Yeah.
Dando just like comes into view.
Yeah.
Man, I haven't heard that name in forever.
Oh.
And I'm impressed that he's still alive.
I know, right? All right, let's keep going.
So there was a girl named Alexis. I was my freshman year in high school. I was at HSPBA. It was my 7th period French class, and I had a massive crush on this girl Alexis, and she had a boyfriend, and I was just like, oh my god, if he fucks up or dies, you are mine. And one day in her Walkman, she played me a song called Winter by Tori Amos. And I've always loved the piano, period. And I was like, oh, this is a cool little song. And but I still didn't think anything of it. And then she performed Precious Things. It was either Precious Things or Crucified on the Arsenio Hall show. And I loved the song, and I was like, oh my God, this woman's really hot. And so that's when I went and looked up and was like, I've got to go find out more about this Tori Amos chick because I like the song and she's gorgeous. And I got the first album, and I think it was the 5th song on there. I get past what I saw on Arsenio Hall, and then when I get to the 5th song, I'm like, that's the fucking song Alexis showed me. And bam, the rest is history. I was in. There was a, do you remember Cactus Music on Shepherd?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So the album was Boys for Pele, and they did a record release there. And Tori Amos had played SNL, and she always, this also might be part of her musical subordination thing. The piano bench, she never sits on it like a normal pianist.
Right.
She always straddles and plays sideways. That's just the way she has always done it, which I think is awesome because that's the way Little Richard played.
That's true. And Jerry Lee Lewis a lot of times.
Jerry Lee Lewis did both, but Little Richard specifically was always twisted like this. And if you want to be a rocker and you play the piano, you fucking play like Little Richard.
Yeah.
So
perform.
Yeah. But she had done SNL right before that record release at Cactus Music, and we listened to the whole album sitting there, but they were giving away the piano bench that she used on SNL signed by Tori Amos. They're having a raffle for it. And boy, I must have spent every penny I had on raffle tickets trying to get this goddamn piano bench. And lo and behold, they call the numbers. I didn't win it, but my best friend who I dragged there, he did.
And you're like, give me that bench, motherfucker.
He was like, cool, man. He was like, no, dude, you're the fan. I just came here with you. The bench is yours, whatever. Called, went up there, whatever, for years. Never happened. Never got it. Never got it.
Oh, no.
Did they ever
When the internet, huh?
Did they ever give you a reason?
Oh, first it was, for a while it was, oh, we don't have it yet, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. And then as time went on, the more and more I went back there, people quit working or got fired. Then it was, we don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Some employee took
so
that
it
down.
never
I
happened.
guarantee it.
Sam, we're gonna tweet at Tori
Oh, yeah.
Amos with this,
And went right on
this podcast. We're gonna get you that bench or something. Maybe a lock of her hair. Let's see if we can one up it.
Oh my God, a lock of her gorgeous red hair, which is probably not really red anymore. But it was so funny that when the internet did what the internet does and drove Cactus Records out of business, I remember they had the big sign like, "Thanks for all so many years, blah blah blah. We appreciate your support." And every time I would drive by, I just like, "Fuck you! You're getting what you deserve. You get exactly what you deserve." I'm glad Napster has ruined your entire business model.
Go LimeWire.
Thank you. Yes, the MP3 got me justice.
Well, I'm so sorry. That was so exciting. You could have been doing this whole podcast while hugging a bench that Tori Amos sat on.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? There'd be a giant glass case back here. It'd be like, her butt was on this bench.
Yeah. Sometimes. Most of the time she was twisted and standing, kind of. Oh God, we only got through like the first line or first verse. We should keep going. We should keep going.
Sure.
Hey, would you say whatever, we're blanket friends?
And through the walls. Yes.
Can't stop what's coming, can't stop what's on its way. I like those two lines. It's not a traditional song like verse, chorus, verse.
Right.
The closest thing it has to a chorus is "Can't stop what's coming, can't stop what's on its way," which I think is kind of like the through line of this song. Which, in my mind, it's about friendship. It's about two girls who are friends in childhood, and then as they grow into adulthood, obviously there's chasms and distance and gaps that form.
And they grow apart.
Yeah.
This happens with guys too, right?
Oh,
A guy can completely relate to this song. Like where you're like locked in as kids is like the best of friends. Like it makes me think of Pen 15. I don't know if you guys watch that, like how close those girls are. And then watching it, like you know that there could be something that happens when they become in their 20s and 30s that they just completely aren't the same people anymore. Or something happens. I think in this one, she falls for a guy, the friend falls for a guy that Tori doesn't like, and then they just
and then from there, the person that she has to become to make the relationship succeed is not the person that Tori needs to be friends with anymore.
Right.
I like those two lines. Can't stop.
Yeah, and I mean,
go ahead, Sam.
Hi. No, the growing apart thing, the friend who I took to that record release. We've been friends since we were 8. His birthday was yesterday, as a matter of fact. I need to call him as soon as I'm done with this. And I still love him to death, but we just kind of grew apart as we got older. So, yeah, like, guys totally relate to that.
Mm-hmm. And through the walls, they made their mud pies. I've got your mind, I said. She said, I've your voice. I said, you don't need my voice, girl. You have your own. I like that because
you've got your own.
Yeah.
But I never thought it was in my body.
That's just so.
The next line is fucking awesome.
Well, that just shows how supportive.
It's you don't need my voice, you have your own, but I never thought it was in my body.
But you never thought it was enough of. So they went years and years like sisters, blanket girls, always there through that and this. There's nothing we cannot ever fix, I said.
That's such a strong, supportive bond.
Yeah. Like you see, like men do that too, but you kind of, I think it's a little bit more obvious when women do it. Like, especially a line like, I said, you don't need my voice, girl, you have your own. Like you definitely see, I think maybe I'm being a dumb dude about this, but I see women drawing strength from other women a hell of a lot more often than I see men drawing strength from other men, even though we do it.
And being verbal about it.
Admitting to it.
Yeah, and men don't talk to each other like that. They just kind of like an unspoken, like, you're my dude.
Yeah.
Sam's in deep thought.
I think Sam's listening to it right now. Oh, there's the raised eye.
No, I'm not actually, but I've always misunderstood that lyric. Ha!
Really?
Oops. Yeah, that's interesting.
What did you hear?
you don't need my voice, girl. You have your own, but I never thought it was in my body. Which meant that, like, I never thought that you using your voice was you using mine. Basically, I didn't know that you spoke through me. That's the way I always heard that. I didn't know that I had that lyric wrong for the past fucking 15, 16 years.
Well, you know what? I got this off of song facts, and they're not always completely right. So you may be right. I don't know. But that's what we love about this podcast is all of the interpretations people have of the song, especially the misheard song lyrics and the way you understood it.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if she had like different
That's
lyrics.
why it's called Rock the Cash Bar.
Yeah, exactly. Can't stop what's coming.
The misheard lyrics things. That always cracks me up. The Rock the Cash Bar is one, and of course, Purple Haze is one of the most misheard lyrics. But the one that always got me, I'll never forget the day that I found out that Eric Clapton was saying "Lay Down Sally" and not "Way Down South."
Really? That's a good one. That'll be our segment for today. Sam Demaris, Way Down South.
I thought that my whole damn life. And when I say I found that out, I'm talking about like last year.
Oh my gosh, that's the best. Well, I'm gonna write that down. So you are dressed up like a douche today, Sam. Way Down South.
Bells and
you say wrapped up like a douche?
Yeah, we do a segment after the podcast called Wrapped Up Like a Douche because everyone hears
yeah, I know that one.
And we read a listener's misheard song lyric, and so that's just going to be ours for today. Is yours?
Got it.
Bells and footfalls and soldiers and dolls, brothers and lovers, she and I were. I like the way she says brothers and lovers. Like obviously it's a deliberate choice not to say sisters.
Yeah.
And it's almost like she's trying to convince that like it's a different kind of bond, brotherhood and sisterhood, or at least the way we think of it.
And
right?
it's like she's trying to say hers was stronger than sisterhood. It was like a brotherhood type of love.
Yeah, it's weird because I don't think of brotherhood as being stronger than sisterhood. I just think of it as a little different somehow. And I never really thought about what the difference was until I read those lyrics.
I feel like it's presented like in war and stuff as being a stronger bond.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like what you learn, like your brothers who are in the military with you because you are going to die for them.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like it's presented as a physically stronger bond than sisterhood where they just tell each other all of each other's secrets.
Mm-hmm. Now she seems to be sand under his toes.
That line.
Shoes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, excuse me.
Shoes.
Yes, now she seems to be sand under his shoes. I'm sorry.
I was about to say, I'm like, I know I didn't miss that lyric.
No, that was
shoes, baby.
So I wrote down in my notes, does this mean she sees her friend as being under the spell of a man who Tori sees as walking all over her?
Yeah, the guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And she has said so, and the friend is not listening.
Yeah.
And doesn't seem to care.
Mm.
Yes. And the next line is, there's nothing I can do. Like, it's just I'm waiting. And then later on, because she repeats, can't stop what's coming, can't stop what's on its way. And then at the very end, it's can't stop loving, can't stop what's on its way. And then it's, I see it coming and it's on its way. And it's like, he's going to fucking hurt you. And I'm just, the only thing I can do is be here when it happens. And it's such an awesome song. And she does it on a broken piano.
Well, let's just say, like, we've all seen that, right? With our friends, we've all seen a friend fall in love with someone. We're like, I know you so well, and I know that person doesn't deserve you, and you are not seeing them clearly. We've all seen this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's frustrating, and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, it's. I feel everybody has a gigantic mistake that they dated. When I meet those people who like, oh, we were high school sweethearts and we got married and we've been married ever since. I'm just like, both of you need to get hit by a fucking bus. How dare you not have your heart ripped out of your chest at least once?
Right.
Like, I don't like those people at all.
They're cowards. They're scared to get out there and get ripped to shreds like the rest of us did.
You took the easy way out and fell in love as a kid, douche.
You didn't put in any work into this. You just took the easy road.
No. It was dropped into your lap, and you were like, oh, I'll take that forever. And boo! Boo!
Boo!
Never once went to go shave and looked at your neck thinking I can make this all stop. You just, boo!
I admire it in a way because I think back to the person that I was when I was 15 or 16. Like, I can't imagine anybody staying with me or loving me from the journey between 15 and 40. Like, it's a miracle to think that a relationship like that even lasts.
Yeah.
When I was 21, 22, I was with what I thought was the girl of my dreams, and I wanted to get married. And that was it. It was the world revolved around her, and she ended up bouncing for someone else, and that was my world was over. And I was like, oh my God, how could she do this to me? And then like I got into my 30s. And I think back on who I was, and I'm like, yeah, of course she left that guy. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I props to her for sticking around as long as she did. Like that dude was a fucking loser. Ugh.
One of her friends was playing bells for her to her about you.
Girl, you sanded his shoes.
Oh man.
And now I speak to you. Are you in there? You have her face and her eyes, but you are not her. And we go at each other like blankettes who can't find their thread and their bear. That's a really interesting verse, because when I first read it, it almost seems like Tori's talking to like her friend's daughter.
Yeah,
like, I
right.
took it like very literally, like you've got her face and her eyes, but you're not her. And the more you think about it, you're like, oh no, it's just that this person's changed so much that she doesn't really, the only thing she recognizes is the feeling, the love, the
That's
bond.
it. I don't even know you anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's why I like that, because it's literally like the way that, and I read a quote from Tori. She said, and we go at each other, because they reference that they're blanket friends all throughout. But then this last time, it's blankettes, like ETTES, like
spells it different.
Smurfette, right?
Yeah,
So
blankettes, like female. Yeah.
Like we're two blank chicks.
Two blank chicks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Trying to relate to one another.
Which, again, if this came off the top of her head in one shot with this many deep layers of meanings, like, okay, I mean, like, fuck her, but also, oh my God, are you Tori Amos?
She works her ass off. Like, she's,
you know what, man?
Every day trying to write a song. Like, eventually one's gonna just like slip out.
Just spew out of you perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just give her a high five as well.
And with this one, her producer Eric Rossi, who like she was romantically involved with, and, like they had a baby. She had a miscarriage with him, and that was very public. But when she was working on this or whatever, she said she woke up that day and she told him, I think I'll have it today. Like, she woke up that morning and was like, I think I feel a song coming.
Wow.
And which is weird. Like, it's one of my favorites. And I'm like, how do you just wake up and go, oh yeah, today's the day. It's gonna happen. Like, it's,
have you ever just woken up in the zone like that?
No. No, there's a series
like for me when I
go through to get into the zone.
Yeah, when I write jokes, either I sit down and I go, okay, I need to come up with something new, and I start scouring through the internet looking for things that I can make fun of, or just something that will spark an idea or remind me of the story or whatever. Either that happens as a concerted effort to sit down and write, or much like the way she did, where she was like, oh, I think it's going to come today. I don't wake up and go, oh, I think new jokes are going to come today. I'll be doing something mundane. I'll be cleaning, or I'll be cooking something or whatever, and an idea will pop in my head, and I'll be like, that's kind of funny. Mm-hmm. And then in my brain, I'll start expanding on that idea, and then whatever I'm doing, I have to stop immediately and go sit the fuck down because I'm like, all right, the brain is doing it. We're writing jokes. Like, just chronicle everything happening in this moment. Like, I never know when that's gonna happen. But when it does, I'm just like, because I know if someone calls me or if anything happens or whatever, I'm going to forget every bit of what I've lost more material than anybody has ever written.
How many times have you been like, oh, I'll definitely remember this. This is so good. I'll definitely remember it. I'll write it down later. That shit is gone. If you don't write it down, it is gone forever. I know what you mean. It feels like pregnancy, like when you're pregnant and you start getting contractions and you're just like, it's go time. You got to do it now. Like, you got to have this baby now or the baby's going to just fly away. Like, I don't know. You have to sit down and address it immediately. And I don't know why our brains are so mean to us like that, where I'm like driving in my car and I come up with something good and I'm like, Dianne, remember this. Definitely write that down when you get home. And I get home and I'm like, I have fucking complete amnesia. I don't know what I was talking about.
I was out with Mike McCrae.
The best thing they ever did.
Oh, we got a delay.
Oh, go ahead, Sam.
Go ahead.
The best thing they ever did was put that voice recorder thing in your phone.
Should have done that.
Ever since then, now it's like anywhere I go, I can just hit record, and I will walk out of the room. I'll walk out of the bar and just sit in the parking lot and walk around talking into this thing. And like once a month, I sit down, I go through the notes, and 9 times out of 10, I listen to it. I'm like, that's the dumbest shit I ever said in my life.
I was gonna say mine are horrible.
I have stuff in my notes on my phone where I'm like, I don't even know where I was going with this. There's no way that was gonna be funny. And luckily, once like
and
Twitter
I can hear
and
in
stuff
my
came
voice,
out,
I can tell when I'm like, okay, you were high. Like,
I don't even smoke
I can
weed.
hear
I
it
just
in my
have
voice
fucking
from-
dumb moments.
So here's from my notes.
I don't either, really.
Forever starts when always ends. When the oarfish arrive, like he found a dozen oarfish on his beach. So yeah,
Was that for comedy?
They're not all, I have no fucking idea what that's about. I have no clue. That's just the first one I found. I'm sure they're all that terrible.
Oh, it's great.
Mike McCrae and I were out drinking one night like 20 years ago, and he calls me the next morning and he goes, I've got a cocktail napkin in my pocket that just says Sacagawea juice on it. You know anything about that? Like, no, I
No. All of our conversations should be recorded. All of them.
Can you see that?
Jesus said I can have sex with my guns. I approve.
March 9th, 2019, 1:20 a.m.
That is doable, Sam.
I have left it in the phone because I'm like, I'm going to put that in a joke somewhere.
Keeper.
But yeah, I found that in there one day and I was like, why is that there?
That's there. That's
But
when the guy
God, it's
finally
funny.
woke up in the hospital and they're like, what happened? And he said, Jesus said I could have sex with my guns. Your dick's not going to fit in that hole.
I can have sex with my guns. Yeah, when you were saying like something was weird in your phone, I was like, oh, I can play this game.
All right. So what else do
business.
we have for Bells for Her or Tori Amos? You got anything else?
It was really weird for me to listen to, because I listened to her in high school. My sensitive friends and I were into Tori for a minute, but I always felt kind of guilty about it, because looking back on it now, I just wasn't emotionally mature enough to deal with a woman like Tori Amos, because she's not like any other female pop star, because she seems to be doing it in a more honest way.
Yeah.
Right. She's presenting herself in a really naked and vulnerable way. And like it's like Tori. It's hard for me to listen to Tori, because I can tell that Tori is a sensitive woman who needs a man who understands her in a way that Madonna doesn't. Right. Like, if you're a dude listening to Madonna, you know that you have a chance with Madonna if you're a good enough flamenco dancer. Like, you listen to the Spice Girls, you know that you got a chance with them if you can get in good with all of their friends. Like, J-Lo's love doesn't cost a thing. But yes, it does. But like, Tori needs you. Like, Tori needs you to be everything your mom taught you to be. And at 16 or 17 years old, I wasn't at all ready to be that kind of guy.
No, Tori was a woman. Everyone else, the only person I think that could come close to her during that time, relatable, is Jewel.
Yeah.
I feel like she was speaking kind of on the same level as Tori.
But even they came out at similar times, but Jewel was like a couple of years later. Like Tori had to open the doors for these women to present themselves the way that they really are.
Right.
Like,
no, it wasn't. It wasn't Jewel. Because trust me, when I really delved into Tori Amos, I went down this rabbit hole. Jewel was a way more poppy than Tori Amos was. Tori Amos, the following for Tori Amos was very underground and very cult.
Oh wait, I have a better one.
The one who I would put the closest.
Let's say it at the same time. Does it start with an S?
Sarah McLachlan.
Sarah McLachlan.
Sarah McLachlan.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sarah McLachlan. Those first two albums, she was on that level, and then when she put together Lilith Fair, that was when it was like, okay, now you've gone poppy and you're going straight mainstream. Which, wow, Lilith Fair, what a great idea that was. I thought really awesome, and I don't know how a woman positive music festival, I don't know how that ended up failing.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, I think she was way ahead of her time. Like, if she put that together in 2019, not 2020, if she would have put that together in 2019, that would have been fucking huge.
It's time to bring it back. And I mean, bring back the original lineup too. Bring back Indigo Girls, everybody involved. What's your favorite Sarah McLachlan song? Because mine is one that nobody knows because it wasn't famous. It starts with a V. Do you know it? It was one for
Nope.
It's called Vox, and I want everybody to go listen to Vox. It is the VOX. It is the best Sarah McLachlan song ever.
Wait a minute. That's on Fumbling Towards Ecstasy, is it?
I don't remember. I never even knew what album it was. I just knew that song, and it blew my mind. I thought it was the best song I'd ever heard. And I know that they played it on K2 in Houston. They only played it on like college radio stations, and I never understood why it wasn't her biggest song. Because she just wasn't big yet.
Mm-hmm.
That was on. Hang on. This song.
You playing it?
Oh, you said I am. No, damn it. This is from a live concert. Hang on a second. Here we go. Let me see. Oh, yeah, you're right. She was not big yet. This is from. Oh, wow. No, she got big after Fumbling Towards Ecstasy, which was the album after this.
Yeah. What album is Vox on?
Vox is on Touch.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then she started doing sad puppy commercials, and I was like, oh God, will you fucking just stop?
I used to have some joke I would say on Twitter, and I can't remember what it was. Something about like, if I put this Listerine strip on my dog's tongue, will you promise not to tell Sarah McLachlan? Oh God.
No, she had a song called Fear, which I think was my favorite one. First, that Fumbling Towards Ecstasy album was just out of this world, and a song on that one called Fear. And I went and saw her at Jones Hall, and there's a song called Ice where she hits this really, really high note, and you could hear her voice just boom, blow the fuck out. Because I'm sitting in the nosebleeds in Jones Hall, you know, the acoustics up there, if you fart on that stage, I hear it like you did it right next to my ear. Boy, she hit that note, and I was sitting with my girlfriend at the time, and I go, hey, I think the show is over.
We have climaxed.
And I think she limped her way through another song, and then it was, thank you very much, goodbye. And I was like, yeah, she did.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I saw the 1812 Overture at Jones Hall. Great venue. It was like a symphony.
Man, the acoustics they built in that room, it's the nosebleeds sound way better than anywhere else. Like I think they were trying to make sure that it would still be an enjoyable experience up there, and I think they overcompensated to where like you're really audibly you're getting a shit show if you're anywhere besides the cheapest seats in the building.
Right. What else
Was
we
the
got?
best performer. I absolutely, the last couple of days I've been listening to nothing but Tori Amos, and it's been really, really nice. Like it's odd to be a man and relate to Tori. Like I know Sam's obviously really attracted to her, and so am I. But does it, like, do you feel, maybe guilt is the wrong word, but like it's weird because she's not selling her sexuality. She's not even really inviting you to enjoy her sexuality in a way. It's like, to me sometimes it feels like
No.
like it's wrong to read a woman's diary.
No.
It's definitely wrong to be turned on reading a woman's diary.
So it's yes and no. Like there was she never sold her sexuality, but on the same album as Bells for Her, there's a song called Icicle. And when you were talking about, like, Dianne, you said you weren't smart enough for Tori Amos. I would get albums of hers and I'd have them, and then 2 years later, I'd be like, "Oh my God, that's what that song is about." Because
right.
yes, dude, this shit was pre-Google. There was no way to just go and go, "Oh, I wonder what he's talking about. Let me look it up." No, you just, and then like one time you'd be listening to it and be like, "Oh, that's what that was."
Yeah.
The song Icicle is all about her flicking her bean.
I should listen to Icicle.
Yeah, it's just a song about her masturbating. And then I think when she was asked about it, it was when she was a kid, she was like, "I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna lose my virginity to Robert Plant," and that was her thing. And that's another thing about her is that she was notorious. She covers songs, and her covers are fucking insane because she always will take them and just go completely different. Like the big
What's
one
the
Smells
best?
Like Teen Spirit.
Oh,
Yeah, I listened to that
yeah.
one.
So the thing about Smells Like Teen Spirit was this is also back in the day of singles. So when she would release a single, the B-side to her single was always a cover track. And then, live, there's no copyright whatsoever. So back in the day, if you remember Soundwaves, the record store, they always had the imports section where you could go and get albums that weren't sold in the States, which ended up just being the bootleg section. People just record shit and they make albums out of it and they just sell them. And so in that, Tori Amos always had a huge section of just people recording covers from shows. And I mean, in like 2001, I had like 22 Tori Amos CDs. She didn't have that many albums.
Oh my God.
It was just if you put them out or whatever. Oh God, yeah. I went like once a week or once a month to go look in that section to see if anything was out that I didn't have. I think my favorite cover she did Purple Rain, and her version of Purple Rain is just fucking incredible. But yeah, she always covered Led Zeppelin because she's just a huge fan. Smells Like Teen Spirit was the ones that she put out. On the Higher Learning soundtrack, she did a cover of Losing My Religion. So I ended up buying the entire soundtrack just so I could get that song. Before you could just download one track, you had to buy an entire shitty album for the one song that you loved.
Yeah.
God, I can't. She did Whole Lot of Love by Zeppelin. Eventually, she would go on to do the album. The album's called Strange Little Girls, and is it Strange Little Girls? Yes, I think it's Strange Little Girls. And that entire album is covers. She covers Raining Blood by Slayer. She covers 97 Bunny and Clyde by Eminem.
Ooh.
Yeah, that album. And that's the thing is that there was no rhyme or reason to what she was gonna cover. It was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna cover a hip hop track now, or I'm gonna cover Slayer, she just would pick something and sit down at the piano and she would make it. And they weren't always great, but they were always fucking interesting.
Yeah.
Every one of them was interesting.
It reminds me of like when Johnny Cash did that, where he's like, okay, I'm just going to do this, but I'm going to Johnny Cash it the fuck up.
Yeah, when he got 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah, when he did Hurt. Like, he turned Hurt into a completely different song with the same lyrics.
So here's the crazy thing. Everybody went nuts about him covering Hurt, right? On that same album, he did Rusty Cage by Soundgarden, and it is far superior.
Yeah.
It is far superior than him covering Hurt.
Like, yeah, you're right.
Because Hurt is still very slow and whatnot. It's still very slow. It's very haunting to hear it done in his voice, which is why I think the cover of Hurt was really good. But when he did Soundgarden, he completely changed the song, and it sounds like something that he would have originally written. And I'm like, this is way better than the 9 Inch Nails cover. You guys are freaking out about the wrong fucking song.
That's a good point of view.
He also did the Mercy Seat by Nick Cave, which I'm really partial to. Speaking of doom and gloomy.
Well,
I think Nick Cave is sort of like the male version of Tori Amos, where he just distills his raw masculinity into these nightmare scenarios.
Yeah.
It's so funny because like you listen to Johnny Cash like back when he was doing those covers like Hurt and Nick Cave and Soundgarden. You hear that voice, you're like, this sounds like this old man who's got this very raspy doom and gloom voice or whatever. But then you go back and listen to songs when he was in his 20s, and it's like, hey man, how did you sound like you were 70 when you were a kid?
Yeah.
The voice never changed.
Nope.
You're like, oh. That's the other thing is that like I'm also a huge Motorhead fan, and it was the same thing with him where it's like, you know, at the very end you're like, oh, that raspy, gravelly, Lemmy voice, whatever. And then you listen to their first album, you're like, dude, you needed to go to a hospital because you were in your 20s and you sounded like that. Like that's not natural.
This is kind of a pot kettle black situation because you have the raspiest voice that you've had since your 20s.
I know.
Someone's going to hear comedy when you're in your 60s and be like, what did he sound like in his 20s? Same. Same.
Funny because you mentioned Mike McRae earlier, Ben. You'd be hard pressed to find a bigger Motorhead fan than myself. Like, hang on a second. Where is it? Oh no, I changed it. It used to be a lock screen on my phone, and there's a Motorhead sign hanging on my wall back there. And you mentioned Mike McRae. It all stemmed from Mike McRae.
He made.
We were back. We were back in that back room of the Last Stop where you guys remember where all the real comedy fucking happened. That open mic. No one gave a shit what was going on that fucking stage. That back room of the Last Stop was just this smoke-filled den of comedy gold. We were back there, and somehow Mike was doing an impression thing, and it was like The Odd Couple if it was Schwarzenegger and Ozzy Osbourne. And then he was doing that on stage, and then he was saying when we were in the back, he was like, between Ozzy Osbourne and Lemmy, I don't know how English people like founded the language or something. And he started doing this Lemmy impression, and then me and Mungo, I think we started just like the Ace of Spades, and McRae goes, the funny thing is no one knows any other Motorhead song except the Ace of Spades. He was like, and that guy's got like 15 fucking albums or something. And I was like, no way. I'm like, because all I know is the Ace of Spades. I was like, no way does he have that many albums. I left that open mic. I went and looked it up that night. And there was this huge discography of Motorhead shit. And I was like, let me dig into this. And I was like, I love every fucking song. But yeah, I'm a huge Motorhead fan, and it's all Mike McRae's fault.
That's awesome. I have to make sure Mike listens to this. Did you listen to his Supernaut like 2 episodes ago? We covered Supernaut with Mike McRae.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, we did
Really?
Supernaut with McRae. So we did Ozzy, and he did an Ozzy impression. And then the next one is Van Halen with Mungle, and now you. So we have a very laugh stop last 3 episodes.
Okay, wait a minute. So you did Van Halen with Mungo, right?
Yeah.
Did he tell you the story about when he bought the first Van Hagar album and his buddies were listening into the car?
Yes, he did.
Oh, yeah.
When he heard "Why Can't This Be Love"?
Yes.
And did you do it on video? Did you do it on video?
Oh, yeah.
Every time I make him tell the story, every time you can see the heartbreak in his face. Today, when he tells the story, every time he tells it, I'm like, he's gonna cry. He's gonna cry.
Yeah. Yeah, go watch the YouTube. He tells the story. He was so excited for it, and then such a letdown.
What is this shit? What the fuck is this? Oh man!
What?
We just did an hour on
Anytime
Tori
where
Amos, and we didn't talk about fairies or elves or horses or enchanted forests or magic kingdoms.
Because that's just what we think of when we dream of Tori Amos.
That really is.
That's what you think of.
Should we get into our guilty pleasures?
Yeah, so we already did our dressed up like a douche. Thank you, Sam, with way down south. So I have to pee so bad. I'm trying not to rush us. Ben, do you have a guilty pleasure song?
I do. It's Night Ranger's Sister Christian. I will play that in bars when I'm closing down, and I watch the scene from Boogie Nights at least once a week on YouTube with Alfred Molina stealing the whole movie inside of 8 minutes. Thomas Jane ripping Mark Wahlberg's heart out. It's great.
I saw that recently. Sam, what do you think about Sister Christian? Any feelings?
I don't hate it. It's not.
I feel like you can't hate it.
No, it's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those like I would never go on Spotify and pull up Sister Christian. But if I'm somewhere like at a bar and it came on, I'd be like, oh hell yeah. You know,
I thought it was the perfect song for that scene in that movie because like every time I've heard that song prior, I was like, who listens to this? Like in what situation would this song be appropriate? And then I saw that movie and went, oh, that's exactly it. Yeah, when you're in a coked up nightmare.
Yes. Also,
that's the way I've always felt about Aerosmith is that like when I was 14, I bought the Get a Grip album, and then someone stole it because people steal CDs all the time. But other than that, I never owned an Aerosmith album, but I can sing along to almost every Aerosmith song. It's one of those, I'm like, I don't hate you, I'm just not a fan.
Yeah.
But I guess I am because I know every lyric you've ever written.
They were thrust upon us so hard in the 90s. They really like injected our bloodstream with Aerosmith when they came back.
And the thing is like that's not a bad thing to have thrust upon you. Is like there are so many worse bands that you can have shoved down your throat.
Like the Spice Girls. Yeah.
I don't know. I think I could take all 5 of them down my throat. Especially that redhead. Give it to me.
All right, I'm going to move this along because I really have to pee. My guilty pleasure song, which I should have put in last week's episode because it went more with the theme, but mine is Heaven by Warrant.
Oh, wow.
Can you sing a few bars?
Heaven isn't too far away. I like glam band lead singers, much like I love Sebastian Bach from Skid Row, because they hit high octaves, and I am a fan of that. I try to sing it in my car.
Sebastian Bach out here, he will pop into bars if he knows there's a live band, and he will just pop it and jump on stage with them. And he's fat, He's aged badly. He's kind of overweight or whatever. His hair is still immaculate, and the voice is untouched. Like he can
Really?
still belt out. Oh God, he sounds amazing.
That's usually what happens.
And
Is like they lose that octave level, and they like in concert. I know Axl Rose can't do it anymore, but that's impressive.
Sebastian Bach still sounds amazing. And I've seen him twice. I've seen him do that twice. One of his favorite things to do is he'll ask the band if they know any Journey songs, and he covers Journey, and he sings Journey songs, and he's amazing. He really sounds awesome.
I wonder if any of that's
That's
on
the thing about
YouTube.
hair metal. I think there's a couple of videos in my phone.
I want to see Sebastian Bach doing Journey really bad.
The thing about hair metal is people always laugh at how cartoonish it was, and it was because of what they were wearing. But almost all of those guys could really sing their asses off. Like
Oh yeah.
one of my biggest guilty pleasures is "Rock Me" by Great White. And
Oh, how does that go?
you know what? Great White, rock me, hold me through the night, rock me, rock me, rock me, rock me.
They're the ones that had that concert where all those people died because it caught on fire, right? Yeah.
Exactly, with the pyros, and they were also the first concert I saw when I moved back here to LA. But yeah, it's Great White. Fucking the videos were bad, the outfits were bad, the hair was bad, but I'm like, motherfucker, you go hit those notes.
Yeah.
You hit those notes, and like, bet you can't. I'll give you $5.
Is that your guilty pleasure song this week, or did you have another one?
Ah, I mean, I don't feel guilty about liking hair metal whatsoever. Like, there's no, I love Twisted Sister more than anybody on this fucking planet. All right? And they're ridiculous.
Yeah.
They are absolutely absurd. I've seen Guar 30 times
I
live.
love Gore.
Yeah, so
Did you ever
so
see a
you're
band
not-
called Genitortures?
yes.
Yeah, I went to one of their
I remember
shows with an
Genitorches.
ex-boyfriend. They were like just like War, where like you had to bring a tarp like at a Gallagher show. You were just getting shit sprayed on you.
Oh yeah. Guilty pleasures. Well, I wouldn't say guilty, but most people don't know. I'm also you mentioned her earlier. I'm a huge Madonna fan. But Christina Aguilera.
Mm-hmm.
Which song? Any song? All of them?
Either Walk Away or Hurt. Those are both really, really amazing songs. But dude, I because she was pop, people dismiss her or whatever. That girl's voice
It's
is a
incredible.
fucking cannon.
Yeah.
Is a cannon. She's a badass, and I don't know, like some of the song choices or whatever, like I question those, because don't get me wrong, she made a lot of turds. There's a lot of bad Christina Aguilera shit, but there was one album where she kind of grew up a bit, and I was like, oh shit. And then after that, she got married and became a mom and started doing the voice and stopped focusing on music so much. And I'm like, why would you walk away from the shit now? You were just getting good.
Yeah. I love Dirty. I think it's a jam. I love Dirty. It's so good.
I love Dirty too, but I love it because I love Redman in that song. The fact that Redman is doing a Christina Aguilera song, for some reason, made me so fucking happy.
Right?
Just the grimiest, damn near homeless rapper ever
Yeah.
is on a pop track with Christina Aguilera.
It's like when Old Dirty Bastard was with Mariah Carey. That was the best.
Exactly. You're like, how the fuck is this diva
Yeah.
on a track with a guy who famously collected his welfare check on MTV?
Me and Mariah go back like babies and pacifiers. It was so good. I love some Old Dirty Bastard. We're gonna have to do a Wu-Tang episode eventually.
When you were talking about Tori Amos sitting down and just writing that song, I always felt like every Old Dirty Bastard verse, like there's no way he wrote that on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
I think he just press record, and just started making noise, and it worked. If you have not watched Wu-Tang and American Saga on Hulu, you're fucking up with your life. It's amazing.
Well, you know what, Sam?
It's fantastic.
Maybe we'll have you back on another episode and we'll do Wu-Tang. Yeah?
Again, another Not Dead Kennedys episode? Okay, cool. I'm down.
Okay. Listen, the thing is, we don't want to just represent you as our token black guy who just does white people music. But
so you bring me in for Tori Amos. Okay.
Yeah. But we know
great.
Way to not do that.
That's what we're saying. Like, we'll have you back and do some black folks.
Thank you very much, Sam. I really appreciate it.
When I was in high school,
I want to promote him too.
The last thing I'll tell you about this is when I was in high school, I used to celebrate Tori Amos's birthday.
That's the best.
I was that kid.
Oh my God, I love it. All right, Sam, what's going on with you? Where can the listeners see you or hear more of you?
So I have been off stage and sidelined because of COVID. But I do the Whiskey Brothers podcast. Just Google that, you'll find it. And next weekend, I am at the Looney Bin Comedy Club in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm back on stage. I don't know what this is going to be like. I don't know if people are going to be wearing masks in the audience. I don't know what the hell I'm going to talk about. I feel like doing any material that I've done before this lockdown is cheating. So I'm just kind of go out there and see where the good Lord takes me.
All right.
You can follow me on Instagram. I am at Tyrannosaurus Black on Instagram. And then I'm Sam Demaris on Facebook and Twitter. Nothing silly, but on Instagram, I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to make a fun name. And when I was a kid, my mom said I could be anything I wanted to be when I grew up. So I decided on Black Dinosaur. And I am Tyrannosaurus Black.
Thank you, Tyrannosaurus Black.
It was good to see you, Tyrannosaurus Black. Go see.
Good to see you guys too, man.
Yeah. Miss everybody. Go listen
Absolutely.
to the McCrae and Rob episodes. You'll feel like you're back in the laugh stop again.
It sounds like it. I can't wait.
All right. Bye, Sam.
Thank you, Sam. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Let's see. Remove. Okay. Yes. All right. Oh, I have to pee so bad. Let me get through this. Next week, we are trying again with Jenny Johnson. Last time we tried to have her on, she was having rolling blackouts in LA. So it's another Patreon vote week. So we are getting into some CCR. I don't know if you're a big fan of CCR. I am. Corbin is. Apparently, our Patreon voters, I already put it out there, and they're already voting, so I think they're fans. I thought it was really hard to narrow it down to 3 CCR fans, but Jenny picked Proud Mary, Green River, and Heard It Through the Grapevine. So far, Heard It Through the Grapevine is kind of taken off with it. I thought Proud Mary was going to be. I want
to put my thumb on the scale for Proud Mary.
I know.
want to do Proud Mary.
I'm going to lean on it. So we'll see. Next week, coming back with some CCR. Thank you very much to, I don't know if you guys can hear my dogs barking. I'm sorry about that. Thank you very much to Chuck Savage and Eddie Hawkins for our intro music and Sarah Wessling for the Guilty Pleasures vocals. If you would like to support the podcast, I'm not even going to talk about Patreon. Share it with your friends. Tell your friends you have a podcast. Do you hear my dogs?
Yeah, sorry.
That's insane. Tell your friends. Send it to a friend. Send the link to your friend. That's how we're going to get more listeners. So we need you to do the little word of mouth thing. We have a Spotify playlist with all the songs that we cover, including the Guilty Pleasure songs. It is on our website, rockthecashbarpodcast.com. Thank you for everyone tuning in, and we will see you next Thursday.
Let's go suckle a piglet. Vogue.